Hello, all. Hello. Yeah. Uh, Welcome to my channel Influence IT. This is Bhaskar. Today, I'll be explaining a topic on how to fetch the data from an API. So, this is the topic, and how to fetch the from API via the Python. Okay? Using Python code. So, this is the topic of the day. So, here APIs, this APIs I have taken from an Rapid API. It is the source where you will find many APIs in various categories. I'll show that as well. So here, what is the API? The main, just I have to give a glimpse about the background of an API. Its full form is Application Program Interface. It means that API like can communicate between two applications. Two applications means like how these two applications are communicated using like a request and a response. So we have to request to an API, and in return it will give a response. So this is the terms which used in API. We will not forget. We should not forget whenever we are mentioning or explaining about API. The terms should also be very plays a very important role for the other side person who is receiving. So here we have to use that. We have to request a we have to send a request to an API, and with respect to our request, API sends a response to it. But what is actually the API? API is nothing but a method. It takes some inputs, and based on the input, it executes a logic and returns and it returns a result which is usually in a JSON format. It is just like it takes a small inputs, and based on the inputs, it will execute the result. And the one important point here is the JSON format. It returns in a JSON format. Why in JSON format? JSON is its full form is JavaScript Object Notation. Usually it will be there in like this key value pair. It is an universal accepted in almost all universally accepted format. So not only in Python, it almost like in Java or in any other languages, it will be accepted. So that is the reason that whenever we whenever we create an API or whenever we are working with an API, we have to send the result in a JSON format. So the user can be using any language, not only the Python. If the C, C++, Java, or any language, he can understand the result and he can work further using the result of the API. That is under response. I hope these points are clear. Fine. Now we will work with one use case. One use case means we will take one API which is there in an source in a Rapid API, and we will execute that API from our Python code, and we will be receiving that response. Eh, From our Python code, we will send a request to the Rapid API, and in return, we will be receiving a response which will be in a JSON format. After we receive the response, the result in a JSON format, we will convert it to a data frame, pandas data frame. So once the data is available at an pandas data frame, and it is like further as usually we can proceed with our logic. Fine, you got it. Uh, these are the steps that I am going to show you so that you can understand what is API, how we will be uh, sending a request to the API, and we can see the response how the API is sending its result. One key point here is, as I mentioned, that Rapid API, it is a like a marketplace for all APIs where we can use the existing APIs, but provided you have to log in. Otherwise, will not have a key. Key means a key number, which is very important to fetch an API. Like without key number, you cannot fetch an API. So this is a point prerequisites to use an API. Fine. So this is a theory about. In pictorial way, I will explain how I'm going to work. So this is the API, Rapid Eye API, and here to pull the API result request here, I like from Python, I will be sending a request to this API. So in this request, we have to give which API from which URL and API key. So based on the URL and API key, it will return the response, that is a result to our Python program. Once the result is been sent to our Python program, what we will be doing here is, as I mentioned, usually it will be in our uh, JSON format. So we will see that what is the result in JSON format, and convert it to an one into a variable, and we'll take what all the, like it will send a values of an like it will send key value pairs. We'll take that which key and which values are needed for our requirement, and convert that result into an data frame format, python pandas data frame format. This is the work that which I am going to do. So now, provided now I will share that the Rapid API. This is a Rapid API. You can see here. It is having n number of APIs under any categories. So here I have logged in. This is my logged. I have already registered and logged in. So here I have taken one API which is related to Airbnb. I believe you are aware of Airbnb. It is just like an like a Make My Trip or Thomas Cook. Like they will give that, they'll give the information about the hotels in almost like it is an internationally uh, renowned application, or and we can say it's an uh, this thing Airbnb, and very famous. So in this example, I will be using Airbnb APIs. So as I mentioned, so in the left side you can see it's already existing methods. Fine. As I mentioned right now, just before I have mentioned, uh, what is API means? It is a method. As I mentioned just now, it is a method which executes based on some inputs. So this is how that in the left side, these are all like get means these are all the methods. Get search by location is a method. Calendar is another method. Get by GUO coordinate, autocomplete. All these are all like methods. And here in method, the inputs you can see here. These are all the inputs. So Rapid API is an input, URL is an input, and here parameters, as I mentioned, the key. Key is unique for each user ID. Enumerated key. I believe you are aware of this type, enumerated key. And the host, these are all like predefined that API will be providing to us. This is very important for us to fetch to work with this any one of the methods through an API. And you can see these are all the parameters. As I mentioned right now, if this is similar to an make my trip or like travel agencies, which will show what all the available hotels uh, or resorts based on the given check-in and check-out time. So here, like here, these are all the parameters: location, check-in, check-out, how many how many adults are there. So location means which location that we are to going to search. Check-in and check-out time, from which date to which date. How many adults are there? So two I have given here, and other some optional parameters for this method, like how many children are there, infants are there, pets are there. So these are all the optional parameters which are used here. INR. So here the currency I have given INR. Number of pages should be displayed means I have given one page. Pets by default it is 0. So in my case also we will not take an pets, and also in my case we will not have an infants and children for this my trip. So this trip is for two adults people for an 1 week stay. So I have booked it from, just I want to see the date from 7th of this April to the 14th of this April. So the 1 week. Up to here it is clear, right? So the here find the rooms at the location. So this is search by location. So I am using this method, search by location. I am the person like account holder, because if I am not having an account, I will not be having the key here. So without key, I cannot we cannot fetch, we cannot work. So the header information is an fixed, which will be provided automatically by RapidEye app, and these parameters. So in India, I am checking with from this day to this date for and two adult people. So what we have to do here is just for checking, uh, just the test here. Click this test button, and you can see the results here. If you observe here 200, it is just like an result of the response. Like I have requested this one, as I just mentioned right now. Request and response. So if the response giving the result, giving the number as 200 means it is successfully executed. If it is other than 200 means every code will have its own meaning. Like 400 is have another meaning. 401 page not found, data incorrect, something different messages will be having. 200 means the link between the response, uh, request and response is working fine, not the result. The request and response are working fine, and also the input is also fine. If you go to the result here, you will find, uh, yeah, these are all the internal information what application is checking for. If you go and see the uh, code here, see. So we have to use an request library, as I mentioned just here. To fetch, we have to request a library. Where I mentioned, I think in here. Yeah, Here you have to use a library of request, then only it will have features of URL and key. So here this is the code which is generated for our for our API. We can use this code in our Python programs, and we can see it's the result. So here just I will copy and explain in our Python code. Just copy this one. Just go to the Python program. Yeah, this is a Python program which I am going to work. So just I have given the heading as working with API, extract the data and convert it into data frame. Just copy the result here as it is. And we should not disturb this code because this is required. And this query says that what we have given in the parameters, input parameters, what you have just I have shown right now. Adults to infants 0, children 0, pets no pets, how many pages that we need, and in which currency that we need to um, show the prices for the hotels. And this is the key. You can see right now this is the key which is unique for each login. So the key you can see here, right? This is the key starting with 2528. So here the key is 2528. You can observe right now, ending with 75C, and you can see uh, yeah, 75C. You could see right now. So this is the very vital. Otherwise we cannot work. This information the same which I copied here. So one thing, as it is, you have to copy here. The URL is the Air, Airbnb, and which is inside the Rapid API, and the search location is uh, the method which we are going to use, and these are all the parameters related to this method. Fine, like parameters are specific to each methods. We cannot combine different parameters with like each each method will have its own parameters. So now for some other thing it may have different. So I see here, if I click this one, you can see the one that which I am working is for get search, search by location. If you go to calendar, you will find different parameters. Yeah, currency, year, month, count. See, you can observe the different parameters, right? So from the geological coordinates means we have to pass the latitude, longitude information. I think you are aware, right? No? Latitude, longitude, something like southwest, northeast, check in, check out. So according to the latitude and longitude information, it will fetch the details. Now we are working with search by location. It is easy for us because latitude, longitude information where we will find. We will not find right now. If you have, we can give it. So this you have understanding, right? So next, what I am going to show here is, first of all we have to see whether it is working fine or not. So actually I have mentioned right now this is an Python library which is needed to uh, communicate APIs. Any API, not only Rapid API, it is from any API. Just observe the host is ARBN Rapid API and the key. These are all the parameters which I am going to uh, which I am passing, and this is the search by location. Search location is the method. So in requests, I am passing the get method. You can see right now here the get method. Like there are two types of methods. One is get and another set. Get means it will fetch the data. Set means it will update the data. And usually will not provided the setting because we are for not, we are not the proprietaries for this AI. So we can just use this using a read, that is get. And the URL, like under these are all the parameters which we need to pass here. One is under URL, one is get what is type, and under URL, this is the URL that we have to pass. Headers means like what is the information, like what is the key and other information are passed from these headers, and parameters in this query with an dictionary, like key pair. Location is the key value, key, and India is the value. So in key pair format we are passing our values, and here let's see what is going to display. If I it will it will be stored in response variable, and if we see what is the response, just execute. It will take some time to execute because it has to go to uh, net to API and it will come back. So you can see right now it is response is 200 means it is successfully executed. Let's see what is the test here. What is the content that it has been displayed? Oh, it has written very big of content. By seeing this, anybody can understand? No, we cannot understand anything. Fine. So this is in an JSON format. What we have to do here is just copy. There is one site where you can observe, where you can view it. Copy. If you type on JSON the viewer, you will find online JSON viewer. One site where you can see the format in JSON format, text in a JSON format. So here you can copy the text that what we have, what the response has done, returned the result here, and go and see in a viewer. Now it is displayed like this: header results. Fine. In header information, it is the response time that it is mentioning, the stamp it is mentioning, today's date 28 something, and the ID it is mentioning. In results, if you see, the first written error means false, means it we don't have like any error. If error is true means the return is having some error. Error false means error free. And these are all the 20 plus something 30 39, around 39. 0 to 39 means around 40 results it has been returned, the returned. So each will have its own, like 3BR at the shelter home with pool and roof garden. It is there in the Murbad, one place in India we have given. So some, if you see here, like these are all the parameters which are returned, parameters like ID, URL, deep link, what is the position, bedrooms, beds, city, and These are all like okay, images of this place. If you go and see, these are all the images of the place. What type of it is and how many persons, 9%, something like that. And many informations is being displayed here. If you see the last price, it is there. INR, this is the price for the 7 days. If you want to see what is the images, we can directly copy this one and place it. Yeah, oh, you can see some of the claw is a very something like an cave type. Fine. So these are all the images with respect to that particular place and the hotel. Now what we will do here is we will convert this result of this 39 0 to 39 into our data frame, like as I mentioned. So up to here we are here. We have done this one. This is done. Now we are doing this one. Now the result is in the JSON format. Just we have seen it is in the right JSON format. Now we have to convert this into our understandable JSON format in the Python code. Let me show you that one code. This is important. This is the takeaway point of this one, my video. Fine. Now what we will do here is response. There is one method which will show in that response, which will show in our JSON format. The returned one, what we have seen, the same information only it will show in our response, like in our JSON format, the same information. There is no different. So here we have like how many like keywords are there? Oh, key and value pairs. These are all the keys. Header is a key, and the result is also a key. Now we are more interested about the key, not the header. So, uh, so we have to copy this the results and give here results. I'll put it in a different cell. Yeah. So this is the result. So this you can see here. No, we are not interested in error or header. We are interested in the result. So the result is started from here. You can see right now. This is the result key started from here, and the same that I am extracting for our requirement purpose. So now what I will do with this in an JSON format. So we cannot do nothing right now. We have to convert it to in a PD like a pandas data frame. Then only we can view as an in a table format. So for that one, what we will do? This is a very big results. You cannot do like you cannot understand even now also unless until you go to an JSON viewer. What I will do here is I will convert it to a data frame. Data frame. Give the same result in data frame. Execute it. Yeah. The same information you can see in an data frame format like ID, URL. You can see here. I will show. If you open anyone anyone ID, URL, deep link, position, name, bathrooms, bedrooms, beds, city. See ID, URL, deep link, position, name, bathrooms, bed, city, persons type. All this are like informations are there here, right now. Next, after city, uh, after city, you have images link. You have around many images are there. So these images are stored in an image format, image column. So you can restrict also, like this is having around many are there, so you can restrict to some number of columns. So in our case, I want to restrict, I want only a few columns like uh, ID, name, city, latitude, longitude, not required, not required, not required, address, and yeah, let's work with this one. Later we can say, because just for the fine. So these are there. So here I will be fetching only this four uh, for our convenient purpose. Why I am fetching this only four means just to show that uh, what all the columns that which you needed can be extracted. So here to extract like this, so you put double and give each name here, ID, name, city, press enter. You can see, right? So this is the ID, this is the name of the place and in which city, and address of the uh, location. Fine. Yeah, this is how we can work with an API. And why we are converting into a data frame, because further we can do some like operations, like we can convert it to an CSV file, or we can take it like we can build models, or we can do some analysis on the result. We can save it to an like TF. Airbnb India DF. So this is my, now all the information is available in my local data frame with this name. So this is how we can work with remote APIs. Just for I'm on rewinding, so that revision, and we can wind up this one. So here to extract an API information, we need like uh, through any programs like Python program or any programs, we need to send a request to the API. It will return the result in an the response way. So request and response. And what are the key parts here? Takeaway parts is these are all the URL and API key is the plays a vital role. So that URL means which API or which method that you are accessing, and key means whether you are authentication, whether you have authenticated user or not. So this information is needed for everything, and based on the method or a API, we have to pass the parameters and the respective parameter values. It will be resulted in the JSON format, and JSON format means we are usually like a key value pair, and we can like uh, save that key value pair in our pandas data frame. So this is the key takeaway point. I believe you have understood this one. Thank you. And one more thing, you can try this one of your own, and with that, you will get an practically hands-on how it will be. Thank you.